we're going into year 10, and I feel like one of the best kept secrets in Chicago, even with the hundreds and thousands of people who have shopped with me, come through the space, and just appreciated, what I had to offer. I still feel that I'm not even barely scratching the surface. And so the challenge, set for me is how do I transform people from random traffic to purposeful traffic,
Right.
people who are set to come see me. And I feel like this documentary is a chance for me to really paint a picture, tell a story, and get people interested in the backstory to how all of this came about.
How long have you had the dream to open up a store like this? Is it something that you've always had something clawing at you and it's actualized in Harper Studio? I'm so curious.
No, it wasn't something that I wished for or aspired to. It's just that once Bridget made a gift of a vintage leather jacket, I became so smitten with that. It kind of sent me out to do this. And then I just got the bug, and I would show her, what I got, and, she would be amazed, and I would be amazed. It morphed into a thing. I got in trouble a little bit because starting to, take up room in the house, and, and now it's like, okay, I got to find some kind of way to make this work inside our home and keep her, happy, because she's like, well, what are you doing with these? But then, Ray, I started thinking about what I could possibly do. And I started thinking, well, a possible store came to my mind. And then I started thinking, okay, well, where would I begin? What would I do? And so I went through the process of, Googling African American owned vintage stores, and I found one. There are plenty more now because I know dozens of them, but back then only one came up.
And do you remember the name of the store?
Oh yeah, an Orange Moon. It was located on North Avenue. Lynn and Ty. Lynn was the proprietor, and her husband. They did it together. So they had been in business for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years, when I met them. And she was so inspiring. And I mean, that meeting was the best meeting of my life. It encouraged me to follow this path, even though I didn't know I didn't have a roadmap or anything. I just had this energy and a desire to follow something that I was passionate about. That's it. Meeting her gave me the idea that I could possibly do more than the overcoats, because at that point, when I met her, now I was starting to see other things besides just the clothing. Then I started pursuing the retail space at the same time. And I mean, Ray, when I went there and saw that space, there were no floors, there was no light, just the floor to ceiling windows covered up with like newspaper. But that was all it took for me, because I could see the vision right there.
This is all just so rich, and it really has my gears turning here too. I'm curious, if you had the power to, levitate the store completely, which are your X-Men Magneto powers, right? Move it with your mind. Is there anywhere else that you would move it, right? Because again, I know that you're on the south side, but your shop is based over on the west side.
This is the question of the day, sir. Let me just tell you. That's my background is in community development, and I was an executive director of a nonprofit for almost a decade. And one of the tenets of that community development was the whole idea of small business development in those communities on the south and west sides of the city, because the absence of them is glaring, right? So irony of that is the fact that here I am on the south side, born and raised, working in these communities to improve and encourage small business owner and entrepreneurship and all that. Where do I go? To the north side. People will consider where I am, Ray, the north side more than the west side.
What?
Yeah, because I'm on the border of Wicker Park, and Wicker Park is definitely near north. In fact, not just north side, near north, which translates to affluent, right? Rich, too expensive, right? But I will dial back and tell you that when I Googled African American owned vintage shops, not one came up on the south side of Chicago, because I would have beat a path to it. The lone African American owners were on North Avenue. And I said, okay, I got to go there. Now, in the first 30 minutes sitting down with her, she's like, Melvin, what side of town you live on? I said, I'm right by Stony Island. She's like, oh man, you're from the south side like me. Well, Ty and I opened our first business on the south side. We couldn't get anybody to come in the door. And we were selling vintage, mid-century furniture, beautiful. We could not get anyone in our own community to come through the door. And so that was a cautionary tale for me, Ray. And I was conflicted by it. And I remember talking to a couple of friends from my neighborhood about how conflicted I was after I made the decision. And I remember the brother that told me, Brother John Green, he said, brother, go where you're going to be successful first. Because what is it going to be if you go open up shop and you've got this beautiful stuff and you can say that you're in the neighborhood, you're doing all this thing, and you're not making money? Well, I mean, how are you going to pay the rent?
Yeah.
I have always felt since then that was made for me. And I have no illusions about any turning my back on my own community, because I know where my heart lives. I know where my heart lives. What I'd love to see happen is have more people who look like me coming through the door.
Yep.
You see?
And therein lies the rub.
Therein lies the rub, because I'm on a side of the city that most of my people don't frequent. I had a couple come in who was in Barbaro at the restaurant yesterday and saw it from across the street and came in and said, man, we were curious. We came in, you know, they bought something from me and they were just thrilled. And they wished me a happy Black History Month, and I'm like, nobody's ever, done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you can come in outside of February too,
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it was like a reminder to me that I have untapped audiences everywhere.
Yes.
Particularly in my own neighborhood, and that's the challenge and the opportunity. I really want that to be a cornerstone of this documentary, of the push and pull that I had about where I am.